Okay, welcome. You are live. Welcome to Monday night Moshiach Matters class, which this week is being given on Tuesday night. Moshiach still matters. We're just hearing about him on Tuesday instead of Monday. So let's hop right in. We are on Parshas Vayera, the fourth book, the fourth Parsha, we should say, the fourth Sikha of the sequence in the beginning of Bereshis. Relatively short Sikha. Let's hop in. Aleph. V'yadua shenoisef l'kol l'chach shechol inyinei haTorah hem hora'as v'kol echad echad v'Yisrael v'kol ha'makaymus v'kol zmanim, excuse me. Yesh hagashem yuchedes al halimud v'hora me'inei haTorah v'parsha shavua hashayich yuchad l'zman hazeh v'menu amshichim al b'kol shana kula. Okay. So, as we have said many times, the Torah comes from the same lashon, the same language as hora'ah, which literally means to teach. And for every single one of the Jewish people, it's a lesson in all times and all places. It's not just a book of history. And there's a specific emphasis on the weekly Torah portion and how it connects to our lives in the time and place where we find ourselves. Zoto, furthermore, every matter in the Torah is precise. Therefore, we see that there is clearly an applicable lesson of the weekly Torah portion as it applies to us wherever we may find ourselves. And we can see that there is also a learning from the way that the not only in the Torah portion that we find ourselves, but the Shabbos that's connected to it, including also the days of the month. So the Rebbe talks about this concept a lot, about the corresponding the day of the month as well as the day of the week where it lines up. And everything is connected. The Noga the Yom Shabbos Kodesh Gizeh, and as it applies to this Shabbos Kodesh. The call the Rish, first of all, Leimer Hara'am with Parshas Vayera, word Parshas Vayera. V'gam Leimer Hara'am with Kavios, the Shabbos Parshas Vayera, Yom Chaim Mar Cheshbon. So the Rebbe said it's also a connection to the fact that this Shabbos, well, the Shabbos that the Rebbe gave the Sichel originally, is on the 18th of Mar Cheshbon. And that's an advantage in of itself. Because the 18th of Mar Cheshbon begins the sequence of 3 days. We know that 3 is a hazaka, it's a powerful number, and therefore it counts the 3 days up until the 20th of the month of Mar Cheshbon, which is the birthday of the Rebbe Rashab, the founder of the Tamchei Tamimim Lubavitch Yeshiva system, as well as the 5th Rebbe of Chabad. Okay, base. So there's a very unique story that is recounted every year about this time. Of the 20th of Mar Cheshbon that's connected to this week's parsha. When he was 4 or 5 years old, Niknas al Zakinoi Hatzamet Serek, Shabbos Kodesh Parsha Vayera. The Rebbe Rashab, when he was 4 or 5 years old, he entered into the room of his father, of his grandfather, the 3rd Rebbe of Chabad, the Tzamek Serek, on Shabbos Parsha Vayera. And he asked him the following question. Why is it that God revealed himself to Avraham Avinu, which is what we learn about in this week's parsha, and he does not reveal himself to me? First of all, a very profound question for a 4 or 5-year-old to be asking, but that's secondary. So what did the Tzamek Tzedek respond? When a Jew is a tzaddik, a righteous, fully holy person, Chalit bagil t'sheim v'tesha shanim tzrich l'mal es atzmai, and he gives himself a bris milah on himself at the age of 99 years old. Ra'ehu shahaya shahashem yira elav. It is fitting that Hashem should reveal himself to him. Okay, so let's talk about it. Sipor zeh magish lechor v'yira alav Hashem shayach rak lehiyodidi tzadik legili tzamek tes shana machalit. Tzarich l'mal es atzmai. Apparently, the story seems to indicate that he's saying, so Hashem only reveals himself to Jews that are completely righteous, completely holy, and who give themselves a Brit Milah at 99 years old. That's pretty much leaving everyone out other than Avraham Avinu. I don't know who else would fit into the category. In other words, afilu tzaddik eino shayach lehegilui v'yira Hashem. In other words, even a regular tzaddik wouldn't be merited for God to reveal himself to him because of the further condition that's placed on. Ki im tzaddik v'gedil tzaddik tes shenava chalit tzarich l'mal es atzmai. It's not enough to be a tzaddik. You have to be a tzaddik and you have to give yourself a bris at the age of 99 years old. Those seem to be the two qualifications that the Tzemach Tzedek answered his grandson, the Rebbe Rashab, when he was 4 or 5 years old. So we have a question on this. As we were just pointing out, that that every single Torah portion is a lesson for every Jew at all times, at all places. So what can we possibly learn out from, They're stuck in my teeth, and it's been annoying me. Problem solved. So how does this apply, as we just learned, to every single Jew in all times and all places, as the Torah is applicable? Especially, who's a tzaddik? I mean, I don't know any tzaddikim. Maybe you guys do, but not a lot of people are tzaddikim. And how much more so? How much more so? A tzaddik that gave himself a bris at 99 years old. So, how does this story apply to each one of us, and what can we learn out from it? There is to explain and preface this and understand that God revealed himself to Abraham specifically after he gave himself a bris at 99 years old. In fact, we know that God did reveal himself to Abraham. But after the mitzvah of Milah, it was on a much higher level. He revealed himself in a higher dimension. And was a revelation that was not comparable to how it was before. The Gavi Hagilui Virah Hashem al Abraham, the Parshas Lech Lifnei HaMilah. So there's two things, because we know in Parshas Lech Lecha, God did reveal himself to Abraham, but it was on a much lower level. After the Bris Milah and this week's Parsha Vayira, there's two things that we are speaking about now, about the level that God revealed himself to Abraham in a higher level. But Dargas Elokus, Kamosh Zirah Lav Havaya, Gilu Shem Havaya, or Dargas Nanis B'Shem Havaya. First of all, it's the level of godly energy that he revealed himself. God has 72 different names. There's 7 main names that cannot be erased of God. And each one of these names manifests God's energy into the world into a different level. It's not God in his essence. God in his essence is too powerful. It's too much energy. We wouldn't be able to receive it. So he conceals his energy into the workings of the Hebrew letters and different manifestations of his name. So in Parshas Lech Lecha, he revealed himself from the name of Elohim, which is a name that he reveals himself and works through the nature. And in Parshas Vayira, this week's Parsha, he revealed himself in the name Havaya, which is a level of godly energy above the nature. That's one thing. Second, Shabizgalas Avraham Yira Alav Havaya, Shigiloi Yosher Na'alis Nizgala, Alav Nizkado Latzloi. Shanasa Kli Legiloi Yosher Na'alis Shanim Shak Vachoider Bepenimius. The first level went on God. That God reveals himself on a higher level. The second level went on Abraham Avinu, who was a vessel to receive a much higher level of godly energy and to direct that godly energy into himself in a deep manifesting way. So one went on God and one went on Abraham. And both of those two levels resulted in a much higher revelation of godly energy than previously was manifested. And it's also hinted in the pasuk after. It says Abraham was sitting in the heat of the day. It was a very hot day. Ham chayoim hotziah kodesh baruch hama minitha cake. What? Mini hatik nitatek. The God removed his name, the sun, from the shield of Elohim. It's basically removed it from its protecting shield. And therefore it was so hot because God's energy was so powerful in a much more manifest, clear way. That the name Havaya was revealed without its normal covering of the name Elohim, which is a shield or a way to minimize the godly energy that comes into the world. And therefore it caused Abraham was sitting. Meaning that Abraham was even though this level of godly energy was so powerful, he wasn't like, oh, whoa. He was sitting. He was calm. He was chill. He was able to absorb this level of godly energy in a deep, deep way. You see people who are, it's not really a good comparison, but sometimes you see people who are overdosing on drugs or who've put too much light into themselves in too much short period of time. Unfortunately, it happens. People get involved in all sorts of things, and it's known. It's a very fine line. There's a place for plant medicine and healing, but there are people who take hallucinogenic drugs just to get a higher state of highness, and it swallows them up, and they wind up in mental institutions because of too much energy for them to contain. So you see people, they're talking, you can't understand them, and they're frantic, and because it's too much energy to come in. Abraham Avinu had this highest level of energy of God and was totally in a chill way to absorb it internally. Now, and we see the reason that he was able to receive this high level of godly energy in an inward way and in a calm way was because of the mitzvah of Milah, because he gave himself a this. And this mitzvah of Milah, there is two levels of it that we're going to discuss now. Mitzvah of Milah, who the Milah will call mitzvah of Torah. It's the highest there ever is of all the mitzvahs of the Torah. Call the mitzvahs of Torah nikrasoi alehem shlos brisa. All the mitzvahs of the Torah, it says God sealed within them to us 3 covenants. But with the mitzvah of Milah, God connected himself to us to 13 covenants, 13 attachments. And not only that, it was a mitzvah that literally penetrated and became one with your physical flesh in the members only. So it's this physical flesh that actually got the mitzvah, the connecting to God is in the person's physical body. Bris barasrachim, the bris olam. It was eternal covenant of the flesh forever. And this connects us to a level of God that is above knowledge and nature, reason and understanding. There's no logical reason. People say, oh, it's clean, it's this. There's no logical reason for bris milah. It's something connected to a level of God connection to totally above nature. And therefore you see that an overwhelming majority, I don't know what it is, 90-something% of Jews do give their sons bris milahs. Women are what we say pre-circumcised. They're at a higher spiritual level than men. They don't need something removed to reveal that. And yet you see the most secular of Jews who don't keep any mitzvot. But milah, it's not a question. Everyone does it because it's not logic. People say to themselves, well, it doesn't make sense. Why does God want me to eat, this kind of food and not, kosher? Why should I not mix milk and meat? That doesn't make sense to me. So we do. Brit milah makes sense? No, but you don't even think about it. It doesn't even go into the logical mind of, does this make sense? Because we're operating at that point in time at a level what's called l'mayla hamadas, above understanding and knowledge. And this connection is above understanding and knowledge as well. And this is the whole inyan of a covenant. That's literally revealed and penetrated into the physical flesh. And this is the great unique thing about the mitzvah of milah. Oh, I'm thirsty. That through the mitzvah milah, you're drawing down and penetrating holiness, not only into your physical body, but into the physical world. So through the covenant of milah, the Jew is not only elevating the physical body of the person, but the entire world gets affected. That godly energy spreads. Because it's a covenant with the entire world, not just with the Jewish people in the flesh of the Jewish people. Namely, that the mitzvah of milah, this gives the power for the earth to be able to, the physical earth to be able to contain godly energy. Eretz Canaan, and we see the land of Canaan, which is a dirty, unholy place. Eretz Yisrael got transformed to the land of Israel, became holy. Eretz, a land that is desirable to the will of God. And the entire world will transform into a dwelling place for God. Blessed be He. Hey, now to explain this in a little bit of a deeper way. The two opposite energies of the mitzvah milah, the level of the high level of godliness, which is above the other mitzvahs of the Torah, the mata, which is drawn down and revealed below, into the physical flesh and the physical world. One is connected to the other. That specifically through the drawing down or revealing below in the lowest levels, it's able to reveal the highest levels. He's explaining this even more. And according to the ultimate point of all creation, that God should have a dwelling place down here in the physical world. Not only the really of godly energy drawing down into the whole Seder of Histalshalus, the chain of creation, until it's revealed also below, but also that God, in other words, the whole point of all creation is not the upper worlds. Judaism is it's not a religion, but it's the only belief system that the ultimate purpose of all creation is for God to come down to earth. Not for us to go up to heaven. Every other religion gives you all kind of bubble minds. Says if you do this, you go to heaven. If you do that, you go to heaven. Do this, you go to heaven. Judaism is not about going to heaven. It's about making this earth heaven. It's about bringing godly energy into this physical world. Because in the upper world, God's energy is revealed to the angels and the upper spiritual beings. But the very essence of God is not revealed above. God's essence and being can only be revealed down here into the physical world. Because God's very essence and being, it says the heavens and heavens cannot contain you, God. Meaning that for God to be revealed in his complete essence and being, it has to be into the physical world. God's above spiritual and physical. but it's a basic concept. If you take a, a match, you light a match, you take a stick and you light it on fire, the flame is spiritual and the wick or the match is physical. If you remove the stick or the match from the flame just evaporates. It needs something to hold on to. Spirituality needs to connect the physicality in order for it to be revealed. So the spiritual energy from above to be revealed in its complete form has to be attached to physicality down here below. As it's written, that's what I just said. That only the heavens of heavens cannot contain you. Cannot reveal the essence of God. God's essence can only be revealed in this physical world and in his chosen house, which is the Beis Hamikdash. שבו נמשך המסגל היש אמיתיס, מחוץ עצמוסו של המעצל ברוך הוא המציאו ישהו מעצמוסו הוא דבדו בכוחו לכלויסו לבורא יש מים אפס וכולי ממש בלי שום אליה וסיבה הארץ הקדמוס ויש הזה. There's a Rambam explains, in the Tanya. It says the very essence of God can only be revealed down here below. And he alone has the ability and the power to create something from nothing. And nothing existed before him. He's the cause of all causes and the prime mover of everything. Nothing existed before God. God creates everything and brings everything into existence. But according to this, we can see the concept of God revealing himself and how God revealed himself through Avraham Avinu giving himself a bris, and how this is applicable to every single one of the Jewish people, all times, all places. Commit as a milakasi ve'ata as we received this more as and as is said that this covenant that you're putting in your flesh, this mitzvah of Milah, will be an eternal covenant for all generations. It should be a covenant of the flesh and for eternity. For all the Jewish people to the end of all generations. That the very existence of a Jew, it connects him through the mitzvah of Milah, but he has connected to God even before the mitzvah is done. Hagidu Yira Alav Havai Kanisa Nefesh Kedusha b'mitzvahs Milah. And then we see that every single one of the Jewish people have this capacity of God revealing himself to us. Why? Because of the covenant of Avraham Avinu that he entered into with God, that the covenant of the flesh of the bris milah, that is a covenant not just for Avraham, but for all of us, for eternity. Nefesh Kedusha. Because we have a holy soul, nefesh elokis, that's part of God. It is literally a part of God in the purest, truest sense. And it says, if you grab one part of something, you grab the whole thing. If you're holding onto a person's toe and they can't move, you don't say you only have their toe, you have their whole being. So the fact that part of God is in every single yid means God is in every single yid because this part is connected to the whole. But darkness, literally, we have a portion of God inside of us that is enclosed and enters into our physical body in order to refine our animal soul and our physical body. And every single one of the Jewish people, and furthermore, that this is the true life force of the physical body from the godly soul. And and therefore every single physical body of every Yid is holy. Nikra Adam, and we go on the name Adam. Al Shem Adma Elyon. Adam is hinted on Adam Adma Elyon, which literally means the upper man. The very essence of our soul does exist above in the world of Atzilus in a state of perfection. And that's our mission in this world, is to realign our soul as it is in our body in a state of oneness with our soul as it is above. Zion. Einin Zem. Isbata befall bakal prati in the name Shvachaya Dam Gam Hakatunaisayim Hadregonasoy Lazam. The call the Rosh, and we see this is expressed in actuality in every detail of the life of a man. First of all, Hakara Lukus, Shema Orahu bihis Galus Lachal, Nochain, Afil Hatinuk, Yador Sheyesh Gam Elokai Metzilu. Says even a little child, know that God's great. It's obvious to them. It didn't come from nowhere. She'etzo Katanim Yesh Eluya, Gadol Yesh. And even more than this, there is an advantage of a child that's even higher. Kumuvuan Hamayim or Yador Shah Gadol Yisrael, Ani Mispalel the Dasas Hatilok. Says that even the great sages of the Jewish people would pray to God that I should be able to pray to you like a child. But sometimes when we get very learned in the esoteric aspects of Judaism, the Kabbalah, the Hasidus, which is all wonderful things, but what happens over time is you start focusing on not the essence of God, but on these multiple levels of godly energy in the upper worlds and the spiritual worlds. Whereas a child is connected directly to the essence of God without thinking about any of these other aspects of God, if you will. And further, and mainly, this does not only apply to spiritual matters like praying to God, but also to physical matters. Just like eating and drinking, just like we see a child when he makes an after bracha and he benches after he eats to Hashem. It's sincere. He knows that he's praising God and thanking God for the food that he just ate. The child knows intuitively in his brain to bless Hashem for the food that he just ate. Okay, we're going to skip the rest of that paragraph. We're just doing a little pilpul on a bracha thing. We're going to Ches. Now we can see a little bit of an insight into this story. How the Rebbe Rashab at 4 or 5 complained to his grandfather, why has God revealed himself to Abraham but not to me? And of course, we know, as we said earlier, that some tzedek replied, when the Jew is a tzedek and gives himself a bris of 99, he merits for God to reveal himself to him. And as we asked previously, okay, but how does this apply to us? Oh wait, hold on, I skipped the thing. So we see that this is not connected to the existence of God revealed himself to him, which is a revealing from above, but also but rather it's connected to the actuality of the revealing through the Makabel. In other words, and we're going to get into it now. I don't want to go too much into it before we go inside. But God is always revealing himself to us. God's Ein Sof. The blessing of Hashem is coming non-stop. The question is whether or not we're a capacity to receive it. So let's go inside a little bit more. Mitzios v'yaralav havaya, the existence that God revealed himself to him. Kiyam Israel exists for every single one of the Jewish people. All Yidei HaMilah, through the Brit Milah. Because the moment that we give ourselves a Brit, well, usually we don't do it ourselves these days, it's done for us. At that moment, the godly soul enters into the body. And it's literally a portion of God. And through this, it's a godly energy gets revealed. And it penetrates into your physical flesh and your body and your portion of the world, as we said above at length. The uniqueness of Abraham Avinu that he was able to see it. It was palatable. That he was able to see in actuality the Shekhinah, divine presence. Abraham saw God in the simplest literal sense. So again, what does this apply to us? That we don't see like it was seen to Avraham Avinu in such a way that we see that it was revealed to Hashem upon. Let me explain. Okay, let's go inside. First of all, we know automatically that Avraham Avinu was on a much higher level than the rest of us. He's the first Jew. He passed 10 tests and went through unbelievable difficulties in his connection to God, and he's a tzaddik. Obviously, we're not comparing ourselves to him. Nevertheless, nevertheless, every single one of us are offspring. We're the Jewish people. We come from Avraham Avinu. And therefore, all the advantages of Avraham Avinu have transferred onto us because we're his progeny, we're his offspring. Every single one of the Jewish people and our offspring and our children and their children throughout all generations. That the whole concept is that God is revealing himself just to Avraham Avinu, and he's revealing himself to every one of us. The only question is, are we capable of receiving this revelation? Can we see it? That's on us. What does it mean? Let's continue inside. And now we see what the tzedek answers. The fact that Avraham Avinu was revealed to God, revealed himself to an actuality. It's necessary first for him to do the work that was incumbent upon him for God to reveal himself to him. Come Abraham, and just like Abraham. From the side of the great advantage of his service. He merited, because of his mysterious nefesh, his self-sacrifice. God said, go out from your land. He went out from his land. God said, give yourself a bris. He gave himself a bris. God said, check your son. He went to check the son and was stopped. He never questioned God. He was a complete conduit, a complete chariot for God. So what the tzedek was saying to his grandson was not that every single Jew needs to be a tzaddik and give themselves a bris at 99 and then God will reveal himself. But every single Jew must do what is incumbent upon us. We must work in mysterious nefesh and self-sacrifice according to what God wants from us. In other words, God wants to reveal himself to us. He is revealing himself to us. He wants a deep, meaningful relationship with us. He wants us to feel his presence in every aspect of our lives. And therefore, he gives each one of us a specific goal, a specific mission in this world. And when we do what God is asking of us, we're able to perceive God, who's always revealing himself to us. So every one of us has our different variations of bris milah, of lech lecha, of what it is we need to do for this energy to come down. Tess, let's continue. According to this, we can understand the teachings of how God revealed himself to Avraham Avinu, and he, through our own service, reveals to every single one of us. And that when a Jew learns Torah, we are literally learning with God together, face to face. And that's what it says, that God is literally upon us. And God didn't, it doesn't say, the pasuk didn't say, V'yira el Avraham. God revealed himself to Avraham. Rather, it says, God revealed himself, V'yira al alav, upon him. And therefore, since every one of Avram's offspring, we all entered into the covenant with Avram Avinu when we get our bris. And just like Avraham Avinu had God reveal himself because of this bris milah, it's known that we must arouse this desire to want for God to reveal himself to us. Here you have a 4 or 5-year-old child who was crying. He was crying because he was so disturbed. How come God hasn't revealed himself to him? And believe me, God revealed himself to the Rebbe Rishab in more than one occasion. He's a tzaddik, he's a prophet, but because he was on this path of wanting it, right? There's so many stories that bore you to death of people who achieved success because they really wanted to achieve success. In other words, nothing comes easy. People have this false concept of well, I don't see God, I don't feel God, like it's an automatic thing, right? It's like, I'm not a billionaire. How come I'm not a billionaire? Like, well, maybe you haven't done what is necessary to become a billionaire. It's the same idea. If it's important for us to have a relationship with God, then we're going to do something about it. Just like if it's important for us to be financially successful, we're going to do something about it. You can't just sit on your couch and just, wait for miracles to fall out of the sky. So the idea is it's connected to us. We have to want it. The kevan shemistoykek the rois es his gadus v'irav alav Hashem v'yadai yaseh kol hatzilui bo hiyois ro'eh l'chol adavodas ha'enim b'milah. And therefore, this desire that God should reveal himself upon us, for sure, it's dependent also on our desire and our service to want this to be revealed. But look at the gufa gashmi as it's connected to our physical body, brisi besaring the bris ha'ilam, and the covenant we give ourselves, the bris milah, the eternal covenant, shemetzios a guf, which is in the existence of our physical body. It's a sign, literally in our body. Kol ramachi v'nim shasa gidin, and inside of our body we have 248 organs or main limbs and 365 connecting tissues or sinus. Hadoiroi connected to the positive and negative mitzvahs. And therefore, it's penetrated our entire being with godly energy from this bris. And it's connected to our part of the world as well. The inheritance of the land through the milah. And we see this in actuality in the portion of the world, and it's being penetrated. And the holy land of Israel and the entire world would become holy. And through our service, we're able to prepare a vessel for God to reveal himself to us. Not only God revealing himself to us, but to our portion of the world and to the entire world, that it shall be transformed in a dir b'tachtonim, a dwelling place for God. God will reveal himself to us in our homes, in our families, in our communities. In other words, You will see God in everything that you do if you choose to connect to God on His terms. You and now see it's connected to the 18th of the month of Cheshvan. Chai, Meloshin Chayos, which is life. House of Hashem. This is referring to the true life of every one of the Jewish people, the life of our souls. Literally are part of God. That our godly soul will penetrate and enter into our physical body and our animal soul to enliven and give energy to our whole being. And Chai Rosh Hashbon, the 18th of the month of Rosh Hashbon, this is the day that the godly energy or the life force is drawn down into the month. This is the first month of after we have all the festivals. It's a quiet month, if you will, without all the added energy. And therefore, we have to draw down this godly energy into the mundane month of Mar Cheshvan, if you will. In our daily service, let Lamites Malachim, the 39 prohibitive things that are not allowed to be done on Shabbos, connected to the 39 actions of the Mishkan. Sheni Charvis Askois, Behem He Kedela Says Ma'olim Kulo Deralus Betachtarim Gash Dugma Hamshachim Malakum and Nasharim Lamites Malachim. Alpizem Muvan Kashog Rashakos to Parsha Vira Lachai Mar Cheshvan Shikulo Vira Lav Chavaya. Nim Shaklo Chadar Mizgala Bechayos and Neshamalu Vishimagu. But God is always squeezed Bavoda Taho, Shaini Nichol Gam Vigila Lakus. Just like we're drawing the godly energy down into our body, the 18th of Mar Cheshvan is drawing the life force of the godly energy into the entire month of Mar Cheshvan, so that this mundane reality should be penetrated with godly energy. The Hemshek Lezeh Boyim Lakov Mar Cheshvan, in continuation after 3 days we get to the 20th of Mar Cheshvan, which, as we said, is the Rebbe Rishab's birthday. Also, Chaf is the Rosh Tevis Ket. The number 20, which is the Hebrew word is Esrim, is the gematria of 620, which is the same as gematria of Keter, or crown. The Esrim, gematria Keter, as we just said. Keter, Dargas Hakina Alis Elukus, and Keter in the spheric realms is the highest level of godly energy. The Magma calls spheres of all the other spheroids. But Darga Zunim Shachas Mizgala Vachaderas Bavodat the whole Shubachorish Macheshvan. And therefore, this level is drawn down and revealed and penetrated into the entire month of Cheshvan, the level of Keter from the 20th. But we'll make Yoiser even deeper. Kashora im his galus etzem l'maylam shazehu in the Keter. Okay, Yud Aleph. There's a few stars, meaning usually it's going to change up the thought pattern here. In addition to this, we have to connect all this to, of course, the main theme of the hour and of the day and of the year and of our lives is Mashiach, to reveal Mashiach in this world. And it says in the redemption, your teacher will no longer be concealed from your eyes, and your teacher will be revealed to you. And that's when God will be revealed to us in the ultimate way, that we will all see and penetrate this level of godly energy. And for more than this, and all flesh will see the glory of God. That the true energy of God will permeate the entire world, the mundane world be transferred into a dwelling place for God. It's also connected to the 20th of Mar Cheshvan, the level of Keter, Kashor, Im Inyan HaMalchus, which is connected to Malchus. Shall see the law, Yizgalu Malchus, so shall Kodesh Baruch Hu in the future to come the glory of God's, kingship. will be revealed for the entire world to see, as it says, Hashem Yimloch Le'olam Va'ed. God will rule forever. In the future to come, his rulership will be complete over all the worlds. According to what we said above, that the existence of God revealing himself is continuously fulfilled through every single one of the Jewish people. It is necessary and incumbent only upon us that it should be revealed. Yes, the words to say, and this level of godly energy will reach its complete state when Mashiach reveals himself via dua. That every single one of the Jewish people has a spark of Mashiach inside of us, and this is the level of our Yechida, the fifth level of our soul. And Mashiach is what we call the Yechida Klalit, the general essence of the soul for all the Jewish people. And therefore, every one of the Jewish people is called on the name Kochav, or star. Shmosha Mashiach, one of the names of Mashiach. It says also he's referred to as star. And it says, and a star will come forth from Yaakov. And this emphasized even more in the young people, the children of the Jewish people. More result, the rabbis teach us. It says that the children of Beit Rabban were called on the name Mashiach, little Mashiachs, Mashiach. And there is to say the level of the Yechida, Mashiach, the fifth level of the soul, which is connected to Mashiach. It's revealed even more in a child. Since the power and the innermost powers are not revealed so much. And every single one of the Jewish people are representatives or emissaries of God. This is hinted by the name Shliach or emissary, and you add Yud or 10, and this is referring to the 10 powers of the soul, which is the Avora, the service of Shlichus. So we must use all 10 godly powers to fulfill our mission in the world. And the Gematria of Mashiach is 358. Shliach is 348, last 10, add 10 is 358. So when we use all 10 powers of our soul to reveal God in this world, this is how we bring Mashiach. Is Galus says Mashiach by revealing the sparks of Mashiach inside of us. Which is the level of Yechida. She's Gala Hadora Ba'oifan Hagashmi. And this will affect and penetrate the entire physical world. Until all of the sparks of Mashiach and all the Jewish people are revealed. And then we'll have the revelation of the general Mashiach. Mashiach Tzidkenu, our righteous Redeemer. And then God will be revealed through all the Jewish people. And into the entire world in its most complete way. And the Rebbe says now that the main thing we can learn out from this in this week's parsha is that every single Jew needs to desire and wants this revelation of Yira Alav Hashem. God is revealing himself to us. We don't see it because we don't want it and we're not doing what is necessary to be a proper vessel for it. And this will take place, of course, in the true and complete redemption in its fullest capacity. Let's say it's called and everything is dependent upon our deeds now. Good base. And this applies even much more so to us in our generation. And we see this as revealed and the unique day of the 20th of Mar Cheshvan. V'huledis Adonai. V'yom zeh shabo mazal gavor. That the mazal, the energy of a Jew is very strong on his birthday. How much more so we see is connected to a Rebbe. V'ninim ma'ikrim shal ad. K'fi shura b'kach k'tanot. K'noisei. Ma'arazal b'ratzin v'otzin k'vatzin du'a. Halecha mechana aknis gala ad shenit namana l'nasi ber Yisrael. That his entire existence was about revealing God in the world. And we get that merit from him. And we founded the Tamkei Tamim in the Babich Yeshiva system. It was the first yeshiva that revealed the study that implemented the study of the inner dimension of the Torah as well as the outer dimension of the Torah. This is the pathway of revealing Hashem by learning the innermost dimension of the Torah, the Kabbalah and the Hasidus. And it lights up literally our brains and gives us a deeper capacity for connecting to God. And by learning Hasidus and revealing this deeper inner dimension of God, it's the ultimate preparation for bringing Mashiach in its complete state into the world. And then we will learn the true innermost dimension of the Torah in the real deepest way. Literally speak to God face to face. And the new Torah will come out from God. Literally coming out from God. And it says man will no longer teach one another because they will all know me. Your serum is every more than we will see Hashem. Again, and in Ezra Gash Popala shall Alne, Yusuf, Yeshua Stamp to be Mavora, Yusayudu, and in his Kohotsun, Mahamas Beit Up, and Chabad is an acronym we know for Chokma Beit and Das, and also for Chaylo Beit David, the soldiers of the house of David. They will fight the wars of King David. Asher Harfo voice in the Mashiach, because we are at the heels of Mashiach. We're in the final stages for redemption. Lashon HaRambam, as the Rambam states, Halochos Malachim, in the laws of kings and their wars. It talks about Melech Mashiach. And he will fight the wars of God and he will be victorious. And his continuation in what is written. Asher Hafo Ikvoisu the Mashiach. Baruch Hashem Le'olam Amen Va'amen. Amen. It's referring to the victory of the wars. And this will bring about the revelation of Mashiach in actuality by spreading godly energy to the world. That's how we fight the war of God in the good versus evil, and revealing goodness in the world by God's energy in the world. Yud Gimel. And all this applies more emphatically in our generation. The third generation from the Rebbe Rashab, referring to he was the fifth, and the Frierdiker Rebbe the sixth, and ours the seventh. That we are all students of Chayil Beit David, of the soldiers of the house of David. And we are commanded as soldiers to bring Mashiach in actuality. And we see from the work of the Frierdiker Rebbe up into our generation, and it's a continuation of his. And we're all standing ready to receive Geula. How much more so after all these years of generation of spreading out the wellsprings of the Torah of Chassidus. B'meshech arba'im shana, and the continuation of 40 years. Bo'ifan nitenis Hashem lechem lev l'das, einayim l'rois, v'yiznayim l'shmo. And the Rebbe said, and surely, it says after 40 years of the teachings of the Frierdiker Rebbe, Hashem has surely given us a heart to know, eyes to see, and ears to hear. Over the rain, and we find ourselves in the year of Tzaddik. It was the year of the Rebbe's Tehillim that year, because he was 89. The Rachisim Shana Hapei Tes, Shekashur Iyim Mizmor Hapei Tes, Shesirim Achaismel Asher Rafo Voice Mashiach, Baruch Hashem Le'olam Amen Ve'im, Gamar Nitzachoyim Achama Beit David. And this Tehillim that we say for the Rebbe that year is connected to the fighting the wars of King David. And then we have the Mizmor Tzedek for the 90th Tehillim, and it says, and that Hashem will establish the work of our hands. It's referring to the building of the base of Mikdash. That God will establish our work of our hands by building the third temple. And we're already in Tafshin Nun Base. The year I will show you wonders and everything. Niflois refers to wonders. This is referring to the wonders of the future redemption. And just like when I took you out of Egypt, I will show you wonders. And the wonders will be the new Torah that will come out from Hashem. See the vault in the future to come. In a wondrous way. Compared to the Torah that we learn now, the new Torah will be wonders. And wonders in everything. And we see that this is connected to the true and complete redemption and where we're holding right now. And we are holding at a place right now that this revelation of God revealing himself to every one of the Jewish people is complete. It's only contingent upon our own work. And we see it set in the 18th of Mar Cheshvan. Asher harfu voice of the Mashiach Baruch Hashem L'olam Amen va'Amen. V'toy gimel yemei l'chaf ma'cheshbon mechinas keter. And it's just repeating how we're going to the 20th of Cheshbon, which is the level of keter, and this is the level of the crown, indicating of the revealing of the kingship of God and the entire world that will be under His rule in a complete way in the future to come. V'yesh lahisif in addition to this. Shegvan mechodesh ma'cheshbon hu mechodesh harishoyin la'avodah ba'olam la'asos lo yisper taktoy. It's the first month of our actual service in the year to reveal God into the world, because we know in the month of Tishrei it was just celebrations, and now we're about revealing God through the mundane month of Mar Cheshvan. Also the months that come after this. This also draws down the energy of the Keter of the 20th of the months to come after. The 20th of the month of Kislev. And we're entering into Hanukkah. It will be the inauguration of the Beis Hamikdash. With the miracle of the oil. And we see the oil of the Torah. And will be revealed the Chassidus of the Torah in Kislev. The Keter of the Chodesh Teves, and then we have the Keter of the Tevet. The Irach HaGuf HaNahana Mina Guf. Shemraz Al HaNaha Guf Shalamayla. Yesha Mitis. Maguf HaShlema. Shalamato. Excuse me. Yesha Nivra HaKeter of Chodesh Shvat. And it's going through the 20th, the Keter of every month. The Call Maasev B'Trasa B'Ras B'Kol Shirokon Mechayam Mizgal Me'ayim B'Pal B'Shiras B'Kerka. Arts. Keter and Chodeshim Sha'achar, including the Keter of all the months coming after that. Masya Denu Chanenu, God will establish the work of our hands through the building of the third base of Mikdash, through a righteous Mashiach, Melech Mabit David, king from the house of David. But no, Hamikdash, he will build the base of Mikdash. Take on my own mamash, it should happen immediately. Mechinas Mar Cheshvan, בחי מחשבון, in the 18th month חשבון, כיוון שבקבר נזכר משה כסוב בשר, מקשר Hashem es Elokeim, as David Mach, we must plead, and pray to God to reveal his righteous servant, Mashiach, and take us out of this gulch. It's a short secret to say that, didn't I? Okay. I think this is the last letter. Yud Dalet. And namely and mainly, Noisef all Mavor the El, in addition to what we said above. That the fulfillment of the existence of Mashiach through the sparks of Mashiach, which is the soul of Mashiach in every single Jew. Pshuto. This is fulfilling the existence of Mashiach in the most simplest sense. As is in every generation. Every generation, there's one person born that is fitting to be the Redeemer of the Jewish people. Go out. And if he merits it, Hashem will reveal himself to him and he will redeem us. And the time of our redemption has arrived, the Rebbe has said. And this is one of the things Mashiach says. According to the leader of our generation, Mashiach should be the reign, the Mashiach of our generation. We have done all the work that is incumbent upon us as a nation, and the only thing that is left is to greet and welcome Mashiach. And that's the days we find ourselves in now. And all the negative things have been nullified. And this will also be the revealing of Mashiach. And now, the only thing that is necessary is to receive the inner dimensions in the face of Mashiach, in actuality, mamish, which literally means fulfilling your divine purpose of coming into this world. The Parshas Yeshua. All that we need to do is receive upon ourselves this great revelation of God that is manifest in the world right now. And every single Jew has this capacity. Before Mamish, and then that energy will spread to the entire world. This physical world we find ourselves. Evan Makir, that's Tizik, says the entire world, even the stones, will reveal godly energy and will cry out God's name. And therefore, move on, we must understand that all the matters and all the actions are been penetrated into matters of Mashiach. Must be. Everything we do must be focused to bring the redemption. Including eating and drinking. And we must desire to be sitting at the base of Migdash in the big feast of the guarded wine and the Leviathan, the giant whale, and the shore boar, and the giant ox. And the Rebbe said that this great festival should already be on that great feast, should already be on that Shabbos. Parshas Vayera. And after we have the great feast of the Leviathan, the Shorabor, God will turn to David HaMelech and ask him to bench on a coast and bless us all. The Iker and mainly she calls before Mamish. This should all come to revelation. And we will all point and say, "There's Mashiach. And there's the leader of the generation. And there's God. And here's God, my creator, and He would reveal and bring joy back to us. Simchas Segula Mitzvah Shlema, with the true joy of the true and complete redemption. But Gelui B'fal Mamish, it should be revealed in actuality. Shaz Mavarchim Alav, Shechayenu V'Kiyamenu V'Ganu L'Zman Hazeh. And then we will all say Shechianu V'Kimianu V'Ganu L'Zman Hazeh. Every single one of us should merit to have the full revelation of God upon us and the full revelation of Mashiach upon us. And we should be in our holy land in the base of Mikdash, and Hashem should avenge our blood immediately. Moshiach now. God bless you.